Good morning and welcome to John Beck. This is your principal, Mr. Lin, and I hope that you had a wonderful weekend. Today is Monday, March 6, 2023, and it is a day B for instrumentals. It is a day 4. Now, before we kick off this wonderful day, I want to invite you, as I always do, to please stand and face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Go ahead and take a seat. I'm so happy that you're here in school. Love the fact that you are here in school. Remember, a school is nothing without our students, and I love that you guys are part of us today. You know, you are here to grow on your strengths, or maybe you recognize that you're not great at something, right? You're still learning about this item in math, or you're still learning about your blends in reading, or maybe there's something about your behavior that you're working to improve on. So, you know what? That's what school is here for, right? This is an opportunity for all of us to improve. Same thing with your principal. Same thing with your teachers. We're all here, if we're really being honest, we're living every day to get better. Okay, so I want you guys to continue with that great attitude and look for opportunities to become the best version of yourself. Let's go over our lunch menu for today. We've got 4 choices as always. First choice, your warm lunch, is a cheesy Bosco stick with marinara sauce. Choice 2 is a yogurt meal. Choice 3 for kindergarten through 2nd, it's the lunchbox meal with ham. And then for 3rd through 6th grades, a ham sandwich. Last but not least, choice 4, the sun butter sandwich. Of course, if you are a packer, you are already good to go. All right, so we've got 3 expectations here at the school, and I want to talk to you guys today about applying this right back to our cafeteria. So I have given a lot of compliments to many of our students who have made incremental and small improvements at breakfast, but recently I've been really hearing stories that I'm not exactly proud of coming from lunch. Okay, so for instance, there is one grade level that will have to meet with me this morning just to talk about how to act at lunch. You see, it's really important that all of you children know, all you students, that we have grown-ups in the cafeteria trying to do their best to help you guys eat lunch, actually eat it, and eat them in a respectful fashion. And at the very end, our grown-ups are there to also help clean up. Now, should they be the only ones cleaning up? I think you all know the answer is no. We all need to pitch in. We all have hands, and we all have hands that we can use in a responsible fashion, picking up trash. And guys, if somebody asks you to pick up trash and it's not even yours, so let's just say I'm a student and I get up to throw out my trash, and I didn't have string cheese, but there's a string cheese wrapper right there on the ground, and somebody asked me to pick it up. Should my answer be, it's not mine? It shouldn't be. The answer should be, yeah, I got you. I can clean up. This cafeteria is all of our cafeterias. It belongs to all of us, and we all need to do our fair share of picking up for ourselves, first of all, and then also picking up for others. So that's really important, that we use our hands in a responsible fashion there too. You don't need me to go into it, but I've already said this before. Make sure we are checking ourselves with the volume that we are using in the cafeteria. We don't need to be at a level 3 or 2. Keep it at a 1. Last but not least, guys, if we were having a race, sure, maybe we would need to be first, right? That's the whole point of a race. But to get into line after we clean up ourselves, after we dump our trays and we line up against the wall, should we be running to be first? The answer is no. You should just walk. We're all headed to the same place afterwards, right? We're all waiting at the line to be picked up. There should be no jockeying for who is going to be first and second. It shouldn't happen, okay? And that brings me to our feet. If our feet are being used to race ourselves to the front of a line, then I don't think we're being responsible with that. What we need to do is actually use our feet and walk. Even if it may seem more fun to run, we should walk. We should be polite with each other. We shouldn't be bumping into each other. And I think that's really important that I share that with you. So boys and girls, I know that you know a lot of this, but I'm here to remind you, and I'm going to expect that you guys do a better job moving forward. Like I said at the very beginning of this morning announcements, there are some things that we just need to get better at. And today's a brand new day. Today is not Friday. It's not Thursday. This is our day to do better. And I'm going to expect and ask you guys to do better. Okay? Now, we have no special announcements. The only thing, just as far as reminders go, keep it up, guys. That American Health Association, that Kids Heart Challenge, you guys are doing an awesome job. Wow. When I talked to Miss Oliveri, you guys are raising some good money for a great cause. And yes, it's fun to earn those trinkets, but guess what? I kind of challenge some of you guys to maybe give it back. Remember, we're not here to earn those things. We're here to raise money for a good cause. And I want you guys to think that. Make sure that's the most important reason why we're doing what we're doing, okay? Keep it up. Kids Heart Challenge is awesome. The other thing today, and I'm not going to give it away, is we're going to announce our One School, One Book. And your teachers will lead you through, let's just say, a scavenger hunt to help you identify and figure out the title of this book. But it's a book that I'm really excited to read at home with my kids and with you all as a school. So, yeah, just be on the lookout for that, okay? We haven't done this in a while, so I'm going to jump into this day in history. Back in 1836, so that's about 187 years ago, there was a really famous battle, for those of you guys who love war history. Okay, so Texas is a state that belongs to the United States now, but back then the state of Texas belonged to Mexico. And back in 1836, a lot of Americans had actually moved and left the United States into this part of Mexico called Texas. And the ruler of Mexico wasn't really treating the Americans fairly, and so a lot of the Americans ultimately decided, hey, we want to break away from Mexico. Now, there's a lot more to the history of this. Some people actually feel like the Americans were unfair back to Mexico, and in the end, as we all know, Texas ended up being part of the United States, that maybe the United States used these Americans to steal Texas. But back in 1836, a number about 200 to 300 Americans and Mexicans who were trying to fight against the Mexican government got caught into a little church that had this big wall, okay, and it was called the Alamo, and they were surrounded by the Mexican army, which had about 3,000. So we're talking about 200 to 300 Americans and Mexican rebels against 3,000 well-trained Mexican troops. And over the course of many days, the Mexican army assaulted and attacked this fort, the Alamo, and you know, sometimes stories don't have happy endings, certainly for the Americans. In this case, the Americans lost, and it was overrun by the Mexican army, and nobody survived. And it's an interesting battle because once it hit the newspapers and hit, you know, and people in the United States learned about this, a lot of Americans said, you know, we need to go to war. And so that's essentially what led to the Mexican-American War, which is a pretty important war when you think about it. It's not one of the more famous ones like Civil War or the Revolution, but a lot of the things that they discussed during the Mexican-American War actually led to conversations that led to the Civil War. But that's for another time, and certainly for some of our older kids to learn a little bit more about. But the Battle of the Alamo actually has gone down in the history and the folklore of America as one of the more famous battles. And I think as kids get to learn a little bit more about it, I think a lot of kids actually get really fascinated. You had people who fought at the Alamo. Some of them were really famous outdoorsmen, hunters. Some people who were really famous at the time, they found themselves at the Alamo, and unfortunately were never able to make it out. So anyways, little piece of American military history for you, for those of you guys who are interested. But looking at the time, I want to move on. If nobody else has told you this, I want you to hear it from me. I love you, care about you. I'm here to encourage you. Guys, share it. Share that love. Love is tough. Share that care. Care is honest. Share that encouragement. You know, we all need that. All right? Can't wait to see you guys around. Have an amazing day.